What's up, guys? This is John Kai, the Hawaii guy with Urban Nest Realty, bringing you a market update. Specifically, I'm going to talk to you today about rentals here in Las Vegas. And this information could really apply to basically any market here in the United States. And what I see happening in the marketplace is a shift. And this shift happening is we're starting to see prices of single-family homes creep up dramatically. So much so that when I first got licensed in January of 2018, the average price of a home here in Las Vegas was about $274,000. Right now, as we speak, here in August of 2021, the average home price is roughly about $405,000. So that's a huge increase, about a 50% increase. That just shows you that, first of all, prices are rising really rapidly, and we are quickly approaching an unaffordability crisis here in America. And for a lot of years, the goal of most Americans was home ownership. That is and has always proven to be one way to create wealth for yourself and your family. Home ownership, real estate ownership, buy it, pay down that mortgage over time and see appreciation benefit you in the long run. Now we're approaching a point here where homes are basically becoming unaffordable for the average home buyer. So there's not a whole lot of choices for the first-time home buyer out there. Instead of looking at single-family residences, first-time home buyers will need to set their sights on condominiums or townhomes as a stepping stone to get to that next level. But you got to start somewhere. So my point that I'd like to share with you today is, if you haven't already done so, make sure you get into the market, buy something. Okay, if that's a condominium, if it's a townhome, it's a small single family home that you might have to fix up, do something to get your foothold into this marketplace, because you need to have ownership of something going forward. Secondly, there's going to be a lot of people out there that will never be able to afford a home. So there's going to be an increase in the amount of people that are going to be permanent renters of housing. Now, we are becoming a nation of renters. In most countries outside the United States, renting is just part and parcel. It's a way of life. Not too many people own their own homes in the UK or in Asia or in other foreign countries where home ownership or price of real estate has gone through the roof. That's what we're faced here with in America. We're going to become a nation of renters. So we have to get used to it, and you have to take advantage of that. The government will come in and try to fix this, as they always do, by throwing money at the problem. So the people that will benefit most in this upcoming, I'd say 10, 20-year shift as we move from home ownership to a nation of renters, government will come in and do the only thing that they know what to do, which is one, screw things up, and two, throw money at the problem. How are they going to throw money at the problem of Section 8 housing? That's going to increase, especially given the fact that we just got off of this moratorium, and people that have chosen not to pay rent during the pandemic are going to be faced with evictions. And of course, that record is going to be with them, that they rent on time. In fact, they skip payments. Now, if you're looking to screen tenants going forward, you're going to bypass that person because they're a deadbeat. Okay, so they're going to need assistance going forward, and guess what? The government's going to step in. The Section 8 dole, if you will increase, and more people will be on that program. So the government will finance and subsidize housing in that way. The second thing you can look forward to is interest rates will start to creep up because inflation is increasing. Rates are not going to affect investors too much, because guess what? Whatever the interest rate I get charged to take out on a loan to purchase an investment, an asset, I'm going to pass that on to the tenant, and they're going to pay my mortgage. They're going to pay my note down while I sit around and wait for the appreciation to take place. Now, if you can get appreciation and cash flow, that's a great combination. But in this marketplace, appreciation is going to take the next 10 to 20 years. Now, the last 3-4 years, we saw an increase of 50% in equity values. Whether or not that pace continues remains to be seen, but we do know that over the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see an increase in values. As housing becomes more scarce and less affordable for people out there, we're going to be a nation of renters. We need to adjust. It's kind of like football. I was watching the NFL, and you can see that Scoring in the NFL has increased dramatically. Why? Because the rules have changed. Today in the National Football League and the NFL, you get penalized if you even breathe on the quarterback. Okay, so the quarterbacks are protected. You can't touch them, you can't breathe on them, you can't taunt them, you can't do anything. So they got free reign. Receivers also are getting that kind of treatment. You can't touch them when they're in the air, so it's going to be interference, offensive interference. So the game has changed, the rules have changed, which benefits teams that have strong quarterbacks, that have patience and have cojones, that can stay in the pocket as they're being rushed and hit those passes. Receivers that are big, long, athletic with wide wingspans, I mean, they're going to command top dollar in this league going forward, as well as the quarterback. So it's an offensive-oriented league, okay? So the adjustment has to be made if you're an NFL coach or general manager or an owner. You need to change your team to reflect the new rules. Well, the same thing is happening in the real estate market and the investment market. We need to adapt. We need to change our playbook to adapt to the rules as they're being formed. Okay, so going forward, I really believe that it's going to be a nation of renters build up here in the United States. So if you want to get in on this trend, my advice to you is to look out for investment property that can support rental rate that will cover the mortgage on the property. And in today's email, I have 4 properties that I've highlighted that fit that criteria. Most of these homes are single-family homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath minimum, and they're renting for about $1,400 to $1,600 a month. Now, in the price point under $350,000, you're going to be able to cover your mortgage and then some. So you have a little bit of cash flow, but more importantly, you'll have a tenant, somebody else paying your mortgage for you as you wait for the appreciation to take place. Now, keep in mind that every year you get to raise the rent if you like to keep pace with the rate of inflation. Even if it's a 5% increase every year, it does add up. Using the rule of 72, if you were to raise rates 5% a year, that means that over a 20-year period, your rent will double. So if you're charging $1,400 a month now, in 20 years, you're going to be able to charge $2,800 to $3,000 a month. That's facts. Those are things that are going to occur and continue to play itself out. So again, we are becoming a nation of renters. If you want to capitalize on this trend, this 10, 20-year trend, make sure you get into the game, buy some investment property that you can rent out to people, and let your tenant pay your note and see your wealth grow as a result. I'm John Kai, the Hawaii guy with Urban Nest Realty. Hope you enjoyed this email. Thank you very much for listening. Aloha.